Hey guys, what is up? Blazey here. Welcome to another video. A video that's going to be a little bit different to all the other videos that I've been making recently, so I thought I'd do something different. In this video, we're going to be talking about the new update itself, and if you didn't know already, basically this new update has completely cut out raid towers altogether. And what I mean by this is you are not going to be able to build anywhere around people's bases anymore. It will not allow you to, even when there are areas where you are building privilege, which for me is kind of ruining the game, to be honest with you guys, and I really do not like it because this particular thing in the game allowed diversity in the game, because instead of completely grinding out levels to get a C4 rocket launcher, you use your brain to build around bases which allow potential access to what was theirs and what could be yours. But that was only if you built it correctly, and it was only if you found the exploits yourself. But there were downsides to it because some bases were really well built and you weren't able to do that. And that was fine. That was just because someone's actually took time into their base and they've built it in a way which, right, I'll look at it and be like, this base is actually really good and I'm not able to build anywhere around it. I'm going to have to go back to my base, farm for some C4 rockets or get the level for it maybe, and in the near future maybe I can raid the base. But that was fine to me. I was completely okay with that. You know, it just added something. Like, I can't describe it to you. If you played this game, it allowed better lone wolfing, and now it's gone. Are they just taking everything away from this game that is completely beneficial to people that play alone or people that play in a small group? Because it seems to me that it is more beneficial for players that play in a bigger group. And I'm going to be honest with you, at the moment it seems that way. And that isn't Rust, in my opinion. Like, that shouldn't be what Rust is all about. Like, oh, you have the bigger group, you're going to absolutely destroy a server, and the economy of the server is just absolutely demolished because they have all the resources. They're just going to destroy your base no matter what because they have the levels and they have the explosives. What benefit do we get for lone wolfing and just being in a small group altogether? We don't. It's like pointless playing sometimes, and it is so frustrating. It really is. And I get that bigger groups are most likely going to have more of the advantage in a server. I completely get that, and I agree with it, and I think it should be like that to a certain extent. But as an individual, and for people that are in smaller groups, like 3-man groups, not like 6-man groups, 7, like whatever, there should be something in the game that has more benefit to the people that are not so equipped like these other guys, you know? And there isn't at the moment. They've completely gotten rid of it. Raid Towers was that thing, and now that it's gone, it is ruining the game for people that are not so equipped like these guys that have explosives, because it allowed me to go up to a base, sort of look around, exploit it. Oh, there's a building privilege. I can build up, see what's in the base, you know, and not. You couldn't do that all the time because there were bases that were very well built and you couldn't do that at all, but now you can't. And I know this isn't just the one thing that is ruining it, but it's part of it, and the XP system's part of it as well, I'm going to be honest, which I'm hoping they're going to change as well. I've heard that they are going to do something like a component system, which would be interesting. And so this is more of a message to Facepunch, really, for them to revert it back, period. I want this to be returned because at the moment the game is not fun for people that play alone or in a small group. It isn't fun because for me I feel like they've taken away the one good element in the game that allowed individuals to have some sort of sense of accomplishment in the game, and that was raid towers. It really was. Now that it's gone, there is no sense of accomplishment for people that are playing alone, because all you really pretty much have to do now is grind your levels or just be insanely good at PvP and killing every gear guy you see with a crossbow, because that is the only way I see it, guys. And so I asked Facepunch politely, because I feel like this needs to be addressed or at least answered to why they've done this update, but I would like it to be returned or made better or something, or some other elements to the game which allows individuals to have more of a purpose to play against these bigger groups, because at the moment it just seems one-sided. There needs to be more elements in the game, and you've taken that one element away at the moment, and I don't really understand it, to be honest with you. So I want to thank you guys for watching. This is just more of like a small rant of how I feel about the game at the moment, and I hope some of you guys agree with what I'm saying. Some of you probably won't, and that's understandable. Everyone has their own opinions, but I just wanted to share mine. And if you do agree, then please feel free to share the video and send it to the development team or anyone that's going to be interested in this, because I feel like it needs to be addressed. I really do. Um, I am going to move on to one of my friends who's going to speak about it as well. So if you guys want to listen to that, this is pretty much my point of view on it and what I feel like should be happening to the game. But for someone that's played it longer than me, I want you to listen to this guy. Just hear what he has to say, because I'm sure you guys will be interested in this, and he's more knowledgeable than I am on the game. And so yeah, without further ado, I present you Gravedigger.
Hello everyone, Gravedigger here. There's something I wanted to talk about for weeks on end now, due to the fact that Facepunch made the recent changes to how progression systems work. Changed the BP system, nowadays the XP system. I had no problems with the XP system up until now because it was at its beginning, and I felt like they could improve it easily. So my problem was with the recent changes that they made after the XP system. One of the changes in particular was the fact that they changed how tool cupboards worked, and how you cannot build any more raid towers now, and it's basically a dead kind of way to officially raid a base now. You cannot do it anymore, which kind of worries me. It's one of those things that when you play you'll see it, but if you don't do it, you think it doesn't affect you.
That's their choice. I mean, people have their own playstyles as well, which I'm sure you have that playstyle, and they've taken that away from you. I know you.
But I don't want that taken away from them. If lots of people love the XP system, they could just fix it in a matter of like days. You just need to increase the XP rate 2 or 3 times, and I think lots of people would be content with that. But now that the component system is underway, I feel like this decision was made poorly, especially the one with the raid towers, because it's a playstyle that I adhere to. It's one of my main playstyles. There's lots of playstyles in the game. There's people who love to farm, people who love to PvP exclusively, people who love to raid with explosives. There's role players. There's people who just don't want to build a base and just roam around and do whatever. And there's also the people like me who like roaming around and like figuring out a base like it was a puzzle. I don't want to farm for 20 hours just to get level 25 and raid a base that I knew I could raid in like maybe 10 minutes if I had a friend. It's the XP system doesn't help either. So these two points is what kind of drives me away from playing the game right now. Personally, like raid towered into a base and got everyone's loot because they were sloppy and they left their hatch open and their loot room doors open, and that's their fault. That's not my fault for like exploiting one of their weaknesses. I think people should take the consequences of their mistakes in the game. I don't think Facepunch should introduce artificial ways of improving a noob's life, like making bases artificially safer for them so they don't have to worry about skilled players exploiting their weaknesses. You know, like as a real world example, like an analogy I would make is like you don't ask the government to make windows for your house or doors for your house because you're afraid someone might steal your stuff at night. You build your house and you put your own windows and doors and locks and to make your home safer.
Yeah.
So why would Facepunch do it any different since it's a sandbox game? You're not letting people learn from their mistakes. You're forcing. I think that's one of the things that bothers me the most about this recent change, and I don't think it's gonna stop. The way I've seen them talk about the component system worries me a bit too because of the progression from south to north. Reminds me a bit of DayZ since it was the same thing. I think it should just be everywhere. I think component systems should spawn everywhere. I think that'd be great. And yeah, that's my only gripe. I feel very disappointed now that my playstyle is that I can adapt. I can become the AFK crafter. I can become the exclusive explosive raider. I don't have time. Facepunch needs to realize that nobody has 24 hours a day to farm, so you can actually protect your base from clans that actually have that time. Facepunch needs to realize that if they don't play their own game like we do, why make changes that we're not aware of like so immediately? Like I don't suppose
So
Gary.
you feel like it's actually been taken away from you, your sort of the thing that you like doing, or
I think they didn't pay at all mind to the fact that it was an actual playstyle, and they thought it was just like some sort of thing they wanted to take care of, like maybe weeks ago or months ago. But the same way others wouldn't like, to take their playstyle, like PvP. Nobody would like to like get PvP out of the game because that's how the game works. It's a survival game exclusively. But yeah, I feel like this has been one of the worst changes for me in particular. If people don't agree, that's their way. But I love Rust, but now I just can't enjoy the game at all because of the XP system and how it forces me. I'd love for them to revert the changes or introduce another way to raid without using explosives, or just to build on top of a base or something. I want to see what's inside, like some parts. I want to see what's on the top.
yeah.
I don't want to go blowing in. I just want to research the base, see
And
how
that's
it.
more of the sense of accomplishment that you've done it without using explosives. Like it's not always to the point where you definitely 100% going to get in the base when you make a raid
Yes,
tower.
yes.
It's not always going to be like that, and it never was like that. So that's what I don't understand about the change.
It's even worse now because of this. So this affects both clans and both smaller groups. Whereas if the raid towers were in, it barely affected smaller groups because of clans being able to build raid towers. But since most clans don't bother building raid towers on smaller bases and building only on clans,
Exactly.
it's.
It's more. I see what you're saying because it is more. It is a hit on both sides, as in bigger groups. But I feel like it is more of a hit on a smaller group or
Yeah.
just individually because you have nothing. Let's say you spawn into a server, you start out.
You start midwife, for example.
Yeah, you wanna do something, you wanna accomplish something, and all you can accomplish right now is to farm, which is fair enough. I get that you need to farm at the start. I get that. But after the 7 hours that you've been playing and you made like a kind of 4x4 base, or just like getting
Yeah.
resources and killing some bears and maybe some people, you're doing everything by yourself. You want to have some sort of, you want to take the load off your back by doing something else, and that was
Yeah.
like maybe building a tower into a base or something, and I just feel like it's gone, like it's like disappeared, it's like not heard of anymore. And
Oh, and another point what I want to end in is the fact that now roof camping is more prevalent than ever. Because if you built a raid tower on a roof camper base, then they would be like more afraid to go outside. Since maybe if you built a raid tower, you would camp their hatch, or you would camp the entrance point where they would roof camp. But now, since you can't do those things, people are just roof camping all day long without any. People just stay in camp their bases like all day long. So Facepunch, I love your game, but sincerely, either implement another way of raiding without using explosives, like maybe placing ladders on building blocked zones, like maybe placing a limited amount of raid ladders, like 2 or 3, just so you can stop from like people spamming ladders on bases, or just revert it back. It was a great way. It just was great. It was a great way for people to explore creatively how to raid a base. I hope people will talk about this. I'm not like really hopeful that they will bring this thing back, but I just hope people will talk about it. So thanks for listening to me.
It needs to be out there, you know. People
Yeah,
need to
it is.
know
Yeah,
what this game's all about at the moment. The game is about learning curves. You're gonna learn the way you play the game. The more you play the game, you're gonna learn. There shouldn't be things taken away from people that have learned it already. That's my opinion. You
yeah,
know,
exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm summing it up there.
So yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.